Thank you very much, Sergio. Thank you very much, Daniela and Georgina and the Exprim team for yesterday. Yesterday I had a very interesting day with very interesting panels and discussions. Myself, I said a few words, and there are a couple of newcomers in the room, so I will also, let's say, summarize a few points just to launch it. I'm very, very, very embarrassed because I cannot stay for this day. Yesterday I was there, but today I have to leave. I have to leave because I had other commitments that were there since a year already. So yeah, well, first comes, first served. But I'm very pleased to be here and to speak to you. And in any event, there will be Doral Duta, the chairman of UNCICAR, Victor Schraar is a member of various working parties in BIPAR, represents us from time to time into an EIOPA meeting on digital or on other aspects. And there are other brokers like George and other colleagues from UNCICAR, so they, I mean, they communicate and they know what we are doing at BIPAR because we also work very, very closely together. And why do we work closely together? Well, UNCICAR is one of our 48 national associations in the 27 EU member states. And you all know that sometimes Europe is called Brussels. That is absolutely not true. Of course, the headquarters and the institutions are based in Brussels. But in fact, Europe is, if you look at it, the European Commission has only the right to propose texts, while those who have the right to adopt the texts are in fact all nationally elected persons in the European Parliament and in the Council. So today it's a rotating presidency at European level. So now it's the Polish Minister of Finance that is chairing all the dossiers, if I may say so, that are on our table. The Prime Minister is chairing the Council. Yeah? And as of the 1st of July, it will be Denmark. And Victor and Carol, we will see one another in Copenhagen in June, because what we do as BIPAR, as European Federation, is we bring our national associations together just before or just at the start of the new presidency. So in this respect, we in fact are with the representatives of our national associations. We are having the opportunity to meet each time with the council presidency and have a conversation because they come and speak. Also, we are in dialogue, constant dialogue, and very grateful for that because Carlos is here from EIOPA, Carlos Guine. He spoke yesterday, and I believe that there we really, over the last couple of years, we really made a very, very good progress. And not only at European level, is that supervisors and the sector talk with one another. And therefore you need an association because you cannot have discussions in a meeting room like this. So you need a representative or representatives who are representing then also, let's say, the sector, and with whom there is a conversation about things that sometimes, you know, are misunderstood or go wrong, too strict, not strict enough, so that there can be also communication, a bridge between, let's say, the sector and the regulator. Because supervising is in fact very expensive. It's perhaps better to spread message, and this is what is happening increasingly in various national markets. I'm not saying everywhere, but increasingly in various national markets, is that the sector is informed about the topics of attention that are going to come. And one of the things is that whatever is coming from Europe is also always a little bit ahead. So, for example, we have in all our meetings, that's twice per year, we always have a representative of EIOPA, and we always receive an overview of what is on their agenda for the coming, let's say, year. Because we know that also the national supervisors will give those topics attention. Yeah? And then, of course, the market can also prepare. It's a little bit like Waze that is announcing that there is somewhere speed control. Yeah, and it's very efficient. So I would like to thank Carlos for that and also for being here yesterday on behalf of you as the speakers, because I thank him because I listened to him. And it's always interesting because in the sustainability field, for example, there are many issues and it needs a little bit of time. So I was grateful to hear that it is a step-by-step approach. It was expressed again, that is the philosophy. I think we need this step-by-step approach because, well, the legislative framework was not ready. But it's also the first field where there is this simplification. So you may have heard in the press, Europe wants to be more competitive. Therefore, Europe wants to simplify. Of course, you have to see that also in the framework of the geopolitical situation and tariffs and that kind of stuff, because in fact, Europe is basically has an economic objective, is to make our market competitive against the large trade blocs. And therefore we have these rules because Europe is of the opinion that the more that these rules are standardized and harmonized, the better we can work internally with one another, and the better and the more efficient we are in terms of exporting our own services and our own economy. So I'm coming back to the simplification. The simplification was announced. Hello. The simplification was announced. And the first step is taken, Omnibus 1, it is called. Europe likes these acronyms and all these. And in there, they have stopped the clock on certain sustainability rules, CSRD, CS3D, which are, in fact, the reporting lines that financial firms have to request from either their clients and or their service providers in order to make sure, or in order to be able to document what the level of their sustainability is. So we have on the one hand that part, and then the SFDR, which is the information that you have to give about yourself, whether or not you are sustainable as a financial service provider. Also that will be simplified because, and it will be given more time to be implemented. So I think Europe is aware of the fact that over the last, let's say, 6 months to a year, and altogether the last 6 years, has perhaps overdone it a little bit, and now wants to, let's say, correct that and making it a little bit easier for the economy to work. So that is about Europe, but this also illustrates, I believe, how important it is to cooperate with our national associations, because what we do is we agree upon a position on a certain text, and with that position, we, together with our national associations, we bring that message to the various policymakers and politicians, both at European Parliament level and at national level and in the European Parliament. So that is a little bit how we work together. The topics that we have on our agenda, I mentioned them yesterday, but for example, a couple of things that are going to come is a little bit of reinforcement of anti-money laundering rules. So that is coming within 1 or 2 years. And we are preparing this. So what BIPAR, for example, does is we prepare the guide with the law firm, and that gives the main changes in accordance with what is today on the table. So that helps, because then we have a year and a half to prepare, in fact, this sector in order to implement this and also put this in your systems. As I said, anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing is a big topic also for Europe, again, in the framework of the geopolitical context. And yes, they will require a little bit more work for us, but I think we were able, for example, to avoid that this will apply to non-life. Yeah, so it's only applicable for life. And so there are a couple of things that are taken into consideration, the proportionality principle, And also the fact that, in fact, it's a double check, because also the insurers, the banks, they are also going through all these checks with these clients. Know your customer. I mean, all these rules. Now, when I'm going, for example, to GDPR, data protection, there again, they will simplify. That is what they announce. We need to see what will happen, but the data protection rules may be simplified. But on the other hand, we are now so used to all this, it's all implemented in our systems, that sometimes this simplification may cost something, because you have to change your systems again. So that is where we are in dialogue, let's say, with the regulator to say, okay, let's be careful that this has not too much impact on the existing systems. And again, that is part of the dialogue also at national level. And I saw that also your supervisory authority was here yesterday, which was a good thing, I think. So with this, I think I'm going just over a couple of things that were discussed yesterday more in detail. Some drivers of change for our sector, but I see they are on the agenda also of today. Technology, absolutely. We are hybrids in our market. We use tech. Sometimes it's underestimated. I heard yesterday saying something, oh, we have to look at the banks. They are much further. I don't think so. It's not true. Banks are not insurance companies. We are in a completely different environment. We cannot compare our level of tech with the level of tech of banks. Banks is high frequency, low complexity. Insurance is low frequency, high complexity. So in terms of tech, we are a much more hybrid market, but we should not underscore, let's say, what we already have. Yeah, the hybrid way is human tech. It goes together. If your client wants a little bit more tech, you give him a bit more tech. If he wants a bit more human, you give him a bit more human. So that is the situation. AI, big question mark. What is going to happen? It's going to change the world. That's about everything we can say at this point. It's going to change the world. Regulation is, of course, an enormous driver of change in our sector. You already know this. And then, of course, well, our customer and our client is changing, and the entire environment, economical environment, social environment is changing. We have absolutely climate change, so CatNat is an issue, cyber insurance and cyber risk is an issue. And of course, we have the protection gaps, we have a pension gap. So all that are issues that Europe is looking at together with your national regulators. And UNCICAR and BIPAR, we are also looking at this, but also our insurers associations are looking at this. So it's good that we work together and try to find the balance after good discussions, taking time to test and make sure that it is a good balance between consumer protection, economic interests, and economic efficiency. Thank you very much for having me. Again, apologies that I have to leave. I really regret, because I would have loved that. It's not my way of doing things. Normally, I stay where I am, because I must say, when I'm invited as a speaker, I'm always happy, because that means that I can free of charge participate in a conference. That's so, but I'm coming more to listen than to speak. But thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a very, very good conference. Thank you.